On a Sunday evening, May 31st, 2020, after a peaceful protest ended, a large group of people descended on the downtown city of Aurora, Illinois. Widespread looting and destruction to local businesses ensued. As sad as this event was, the looters could not take away the spirit of the Aurora community. This documentary is about how local artists and the community came together to create something beautiful on the boarded windows of our streets.
I ran into a volunteer during the cleanup on Monday morning, and she said that Sherwin-Williams had donated some paint for us to paint the plywood that was boarding up the windows. So I reached out to the city to get permission to do that. I headed to Home Depot. They took a third off of all the paint that I bought. I used all the paint that we had from other projects. The permission from the city was the thing that took the longest, but within 24 hours everything was set, and it was really exciting because when you put a mural up for through the city and get those permissions, generally it takes months because it goes through 5 approval boards. So this was exciting, and we just put it out on Facebook and sent some emails, and just tried to get everybody to tell everybody that everyone's invited to come do this. And we met at noon where the dumpster fire had been, because now that's like everybody knows that spot in the parking lot at 105 East Galena. Javi Terradas, he stepped up at the last second and got everybody together there, and we sort of sent people out to walls. People just sort of picked walls, and it was very free, which is so nice. People could just do whatever they wanted, and I went around and I talked to each group and kind of gave them the idea of, we're looking for a positive message, and everybody was really great about that, and a lot of people supported the businesses specifically. There was a great piece on La Central Bakery that we're open and had like cupcakes. So the artists all came out, volunteered their skills. Community groups came out that were not artists, and they were very involved and helped paint. We had kids coming out. It was so much fun, and then people just showed up to donate water and snacks, and it was a big party that went on for 4 days.
Despite the COVID-19 pandemic, it did not keep the many volunteers away. People standing side by side, committed to a single cause.
I was just contacted that the city was looking for artists, so I personally just wanted to help, and I called up all my art homies, my art buddies, and it was just great to meet all the new artists, and I've met so many other artists and made so many other connections, and it was like for a good 2 or 3 weeks, month or 2 or 3 week period, it was like I was just meeting more and more people that were interested in doing the same type of work that I was, and making Aurora a better place. And try to put some positivity back into the city, turn something bad to good. Art brings people together, and art is especially a powerful way of expressing yourself in the crazy times that we're in right now. So a beautiful piece of art, people seem to resonate with it, and it was great that it happened downtown in Aurora, and it's great that I was able to be a part of it. Yeah. Let us paint on the walls. There's about 200 walls. Let us paint on the walls. Not all art is negative. Ain't nothing wrong with a bunch of hearts and smiley faces and positive messages to keep people uplifted, and especially show the next generation of young kids that, you know, you can contribute to your community and you can be positive. You just gotta shed light on the good and let people do the good that needs to be done, you know.
First of all, it was literally all this chaos. I'm not the kind of person that agrees on destroying. I'm a graffiti writer, and I know I destroyed a lot of properties back then. That's why doing this is kind of like bringing back to me, you know. I have to help instead of destroying, and I agree with all this Black Lives Matters and everything, but I don't agree with destroying our own town. That's why when I see the chance and I see Jan and getting all these people together and a few friends send me a message, I decide to grab my cans and grab a bunch of cash and go buy more cans and shoot to downtown, and we got it done. A whole bunch of artists get together, and it's amazing how Aurora is strong. I'm a big graffiti writer. I love Bansky. I love all this illegal artwork, but mostly my main artist is H.R. Geiger, which is the guy who created the Alien, and his art is just out of it. So I just always look for artists that don't have a limit, because, you know, portraits have a limit where it's already realistic. Graffiti, it's no limits, and there is a lot of art that has no limits. That's the kind of art that I like to follow. Sometimes even there's artists in town that I look up to, like Sam Cervantes. There's plenty of artists that I look up to, even here in our town, so I don't have to go too far. So that's the kind of stuff that I look into.
Man, I went from a bag to a bag to a bag. I remember me and mama used to ride the cab. Pull up out the lot, no more lease, we paying cash. Show up to a crib, had the keys to a Jag. That's that light work, flexing so much it hurt.
Oh shoot, man, I can go way back to the 90s, the early 90s. You know, St. Nick's Wall, the Think About It mural, which was iconic in, you know, in the neighborhood back in the day. Hope Wings, which is right now the one that I did a couple years ago. That's probably the more popular one right now. And random stuff around town, you know. Obviously, I'm influenced highly by the New York graffiti art movement back in the 70s, early 80s, with the subway art movement. You know, when the book Subway Art came out, which was like in, I believe it was 83 or 84, I can't remember exact year, but I was totally blown away. And you know, I've been drawing ever since I was a child, since far back as I can remember. And when that book came out, my cousin introduced me to it. He's like, "Hey Sam, check this out." And you know, growing up in the neighborhoods, you know what I mean? It's like, wow, it's like you see it in the streets, but you never seen it like that. You know, the way it was on the New York trains in the early 80s, just bright, colorful, and you know, just the fact that it impacted the hood. You know what I mean? That's what influenced me mainly, the subway art. My main influence are like artists like Scheme, Scene, Shame, Dondi, you know, all the old school New York graffiti legends. Mode 2, when spray can art came out in like 88. 87, 88, 89, or somewhere around there. Those are the heavy influences on my style, you know. Well, I guess what originally inspired me to do the art downtown was when I was driving at work, going through downtown in the morning, and I saw all the people cleaning up and just the whole community getting together and doing the cleanup. I was inspired. I was like, man, yes, this is what the community is all about, you know, positivity and you know, uplifting the community. So that afternoon, I got a call from one of the business owners downtown, a friend of mine. She called me up and said, hey, Sam, we want you to do a mural. I'm like, oh, that'd be perfect. Awesome. Yes, let's do it. So as soon as I got off work, like I said, I just went home, changed my clothes real quick, grabbed some paint, and went downtown. I already had a vision in mind to do the Aurora Stronger instead of just Aurora Strong, which is like a common theme.
A little bit about my art. It's got a little bit of everything. It's kind of crazy. It might not be for everyone. It could be and it couldn't be, but the same goes for every piece of artwork. But I don't know. I try putting a little piece of everything I like in each piece of artwork. So that's one thing. Practice, and practice is definitely the biggest thing you can do. As for like getting your name out there and just that's pretty much the main thing. Is just practice, create artwork anytime you can. Always get better. Always see yourself as a student. Never think you know it all, because nobody knows it all. Even like the old masters never peaked. I don't know. There's only so much time you have in a lifespan, so there's no way you can do so much in that little lifespan. So just make the most of it and just practice as much as you can. If you want to do murals, just first thing you gotta do is ask. You know, these murals won't come to you, so you definitely gotta put your foot in the door. You know, be a little more affirmative when you look for murals, pretty much. Initially, the symbol of the Black Lives Matter hand, and from there, I wanted my artwork to speak without words. I feel like artwork is more powerful when you have just the art piece speaking for itself. So from there, that was pretty much my standing point, my starting point. A lot of people can either see the piece from being a clenched fist opening into a peace sign, or a peace sign, you know, coming in to fight for the movement. You know, there's no right or wrong answer, but how I came up with it, you know, it's just kind of almost like all of my artwork. I'm not really sure how. It kind of just comes to me.
One of the reasons I got involved in the Aurora Downtown Mural Project after the rioting was a friend of mine, Cheryl Holtz, another local artist, very prolific artist, called me and said, hey, I got a shout out to help do this project. So in less than 24 hours, we bonded together, figured out what we needed, got our paints, got our brushes, got everything ready, and decided, hey, we're gonna help out our beautiful city of Aurora become beautiful again after the riots happened. We were actually one of the first pair of artists downtown. There were multiple volunteers. We were just kind of blown away by the fact that the boards were up, volunteers came in. We were figuring out, like, oh my goodness, how long is this going to take us? Because we had a very large, with 3 large windows, and we wanted to make sure that we represented Aurora and calm and community. And the volunteers had everything prepped and primed and ready for us to go, and they even helped us block things out. So we couldn't even imagine that. Less than 24 hours, just everybody coming together and doing this wonderful, wonderful project.
You're asking me how I got interested in the painting of the downtown, and shortly after some of the protests, and a lot of people had joined real early in the morning in downtown Aurora, and you know, people brought brooms and cleaned up, you know, what needed to be. And so I went there myself that day, and that evening I believe is when they had the call to artists to come and paint. And so I was excited to get downtown and start making some art, and also see what other art was going to be made, because everybody had such great camaraderie and helping, just a great attitude about helping our community and being together. So.
It was just awesome. It's just a really good sort of response, community response. So I'm always glad to participate in that aspect of things here. And the conversations that came out of it, and the people that I got to meet that I didn't know in the community, artists, and just people walking by. I mean, there was a really good turnout. I mean, there were people that were driving by and, you know, with coolers of water and Gatorade and snacks, and I mean there was more than enough to drink, and I met some great people that just that maybe, you know, maybe had never had painted before, so that was really cool. And then as far as the piece that I was working on, it was really kind of a more of a universal theme. It was basically a sunrise piece, because, you know, there's always a new day when things maybe go wrong the night before. You can get up in the morning and start over. So that was the thinking behind that.
Came to see how the city was. It was kind of depressing, because it was a lot of destroying. So, but at the same time, a lot of people came to help. So that was a good thing too. Clara called me. She's the owner from Valderas. So I came here to help to put some we are open signs. But when I was here, I told her it would be better if we will put some image, so we can let the people know how we think about these things. So I think I came the first day and just put some letters like open. I paint in La Celle too. I paint another one there with a Fisk and another artist. I did Aztec warrior with hands supporting Black Lives Matter, and it was the same. It's unit the community, unit the. So for me, this thing was like a successful event for the artists, the local artists. The mural with two childs, and the idea was to see the people that we inside are the same. So no matter what color you are, no matter what you think, no matter what religion you are, we all the same, and we need to know the people that doesn't matter.
To each other, and hopefully we can be the change that we want to see in this country. You know, not everything is bad, and there's good people out here that want to help, but at the same time, you know, the good people got to do what the good people got to do. So everyone stay safe, take care of each other, and, you know, we'll get through this. That's why we're here, to spread positivity.
Spring turned to summer, and summer is changing to fall. The sounds of sirens and broken glass are now in the past. Many of the boards have been removed from the business windows and carefully placed in storage. Even though time is moving forward, Aurora will continue beyond the beautiful artistic displays of courage and togetherness as the city remains steadfast and strong.